Hi, this is CSGO doing a demo review for billnanos on Fiverr. And the first thing I noticed in your demo was that with all the crosshair placement you did, especially in this pistol round, your crosshair was a little bit higher than it should have been. It's good in general, it's good that you're trying to put your crosshair at that head height, but really you want to be putting it a tiny bit more down just so when someone walks over it, you can just click, not even have to move your mouse. And then this second part that I wanted to talk about here is that the angle you're watching, right? You're watching this CT angle. You go back to long, but then you go back to watching CT, right? What you really want to think about on these pistol rounds is where you're watching and how many angles you can cover in one position, pretty much. Or just in any round, especially in like a 1v2 situation. If this guy's going to go CT, you'll be able to see him from like barrels or goose, right? And then you'd also be able to watch long from that area. So you want to think about with your positioning, which areas you're watching and where he can sneak up on you from, right? If this guy's good aim and he ran around long right now, right? Because you don't really know where he is. If you had good aim and he ran out long, he could tap you in the side of the head and then have a 1v1 with your teammate, right? Which isn't ideal. That's why I'd suggest going to maybe goose or barrel so you can watch both the CT and the long push out at the same time. Not be caught out by either of them and protect your teammate, secure the round. Okay, so watching this demo, I've seen a tendency you have on this T side, which is even if your teammates go in, right, like two of your teammates rushing into the B site right now, you can see the mini-map in the top left, third one goes in now. A tendency you have is to not really peek the site unless your teammates get all the kills or they all die and you have to, right? You have this tendency to just always watch the back lines, which has netted you some kills and has gotten you some very successful rounds, but in the end, when you play rounds like that, when you don't rush in with your teammates, it's more likely they're going to get shut down on the site, right? And then it's more likely that, yeah, you're going to get a kill on the flank, but when it comes to actually winning the round, you're going to be locked out of the sites entirely, right? I think what you really need to think about is going in with your teammates and kind of the concept of a site execute as a whole. You want to be using all of your flashes and smokes in time with your teammates. This is something you can tell the people you play with. Like, you just want to be in sync in everything you do. Any plan, no matter how bad it is better than no plan, essentially. So you should work out your plan with your teammates, what it's going to be. If it's going to be, you know, running into the site, if it's going to be causing a distraction and then running somewhere else. You just want to think whatever you're doing, do it together. Don't be split up and don't run away from a site take. Okay, so this is a good round to talk about your post plants. You see, when you're playing a post plant like this, you're like moving around the site a lot, kind of moving in and out. You're out in the open about 90% of the time. And you can see you're moving around. If he would have peeked out at certain points in like door or window, he could have caught you out. See, like, it's just a lot of moving around earlier, and then you get that peak quite luckily. Otherwise, I think you might have moved out into the open again. But just think about in your post plants, when you've got the bomb down, you've got teammates to defend a site with you. You want to think about where you want to be, where you can best help your teammates and make sure they don't die. B site is one of the best sites to play post plant on. It's one of the easiest sites to hold as a T in a post plant. You can hide in so many places. You can hide near window, you can hide near the safe box, you can hide Xbox, you can hide near the tunnel, car, back plat. There's so many positions you could be in that can really help you out. So just think about in your post plants, don't move around the site so much, just make a decision and stick to it, and you'll be a lot more successful in your post plants. Just a small note about this round where you use the shotgun is you don't want to be facing out too far like this. You do almost catch that guy out, but when you're in this position, as you'll see in a second, you're exposed to lower, especially when you run out as far like that, past the shadow right there. Especially when you run out that far, you're really exposed to the guy lower. And what I would suggest when you're playing with a shotgun, which was a good decision seeing as they're on a low buy, is you just hold this position here, or you hold close here, trying to catch them off. Probably behind here, so you have some cover, you can duck maybe. And you just hold that way you aren't exposed to that angle down there, you aren't exposed to top mid if you decide to push out more, but mostly that angle there, they could also boost there, so that makes it really dangerous for you with a shotgun. So if you just hold here behind this cover, or here to catch them out, I think it would help you out a lot more, especially playing with a shotgun. This CT round right here, I haven't watched the rest of the demo, but I think this may be why your CT side was so weak this game. And I think it's just because it's similar to what I mentioned too on the T side. It's that you need to pick a plan and you need to execute it together. On the CT side, that is choosing where to hold and doing it together. You can see what you did here is that you didn't peek the enemy team when your teammates all were peeking. You see what I mean? This guy on site is about to peek. Here's your teammate fire a shot and he goes to peek out. Unfortunately, you can't get anything done. However, you in this position, if you would have peeked with your teammate who was AWPing, you would have been able to get the trade on this guy, right? And then you can see your teammate peeks out, dies, and then this guy just got 3 1v1s when it should have been a 3v1 for him. He was on his own pushing a site that had 3 people on it. You should have just all peeked him at the same time, taken that kill. Unfortunately, you were hiding CT. The AWP guy didn't have the best angle. He should have maybe swung out to the left. The AWP guy maybe should have communicated with you to peek as well, but you should know to peek with him in that situation. Get the trade. Trade's most important part of Counter-Strike. You were a man up, so the trade was desirable. Always think about a plan with your teammates, doing things together, peeking together, trading together, crossfires, CT side. It's crucial to winning. I think this part of the demo in particular really showcases something that you really need on your CT side especially, and that is decisiveness. You need to make a decision, whether that's based on info, whether that's just something you do at the start of the round. You need to make a decision. You can see here you're kind of teetering between short and long, and if you're watching both of them, you're essentially watching neither of them, right? If you're constantly looking between long and short, long and short, long and short, someone when you're peeking long could peek you short, and someone when you're peeking short could peek you long. Really, in this position, you should go to pit and hold long, leave your teammate to watch short, or you should go short, leave long, and just try and hold it from short with your teammate. Both are equally valid, both are equally as good, but you need to make one of those decisions. You can't have both. You can never have both. Just a small note to make about this round here. You quickly get this first kill on this guy, even though you are out in the open, but then you proceed to stay in the open and kind of just hold this angle, right? The reason that this is a problem is you can see on the right that your team at this point is 1 man up, right? You want to hold on to that man advantage, you want to keep the advantage, you don't want to let it slip and give them a chance to get into the round. And by staying out in this open position, this position with essentially no cover, what happens is that this AWPer is allowed to get out here, and then you have nowhere to fall back to, so you can just spam me down with a deagle, right? In this kind of position, what I would like you to do more is maybe go to pit or go to the wall. In pit, there's a lot you can do. I prefer that as a position, honestly. You can bounce a flash off the pole, you can peek it, it's a little head jiggle angle, you can be deep, you can be close. There's a lot of things you can do pit, and there's a lot of ways you can catch out an AWPer especially, and anyone trying to re-aggress long late in the round without like a full team of utility. You can definitely defend that way better from pit, and that's what I would suggest if you get that first kill long. Smoke it, molly it, do whatever you want, and then just fall back to pit, and then you can hold long essentially for the rest of the round if you want. Really quickly, the most important thing about long on Dust 2 is that you never challenge it alone. You can see if you look around that your teammate, your one is in CT spawn, and then your other teammate is holding this angle, right? So essentially not helping you at all. And then when you back away from this angle, they're right there, and your teammate cannot see it at all. Taking that fight on your own. So yeah, just an important thing to note. If you're going to try and hold long on Dust 2, it is not a solo affair. You need 2, even 3 people to do it. So if you're running down there alone, back up. If there's no one there with you, don't do it. Like I said, the thesis of this whole demo review is don't do things alone. Always have someone there to do it. Always have a plan. I think the main thing in this game that made you lose, or sorry, made you tie, is that you guys just kept trying to defend long like this, right? You kept trying and trying and trying to defend long. You were sending 3 players out long and it just wasn't working, right? They were getting all the kills, it wasn't working at all. And I think what you need to know is that a viable strategy on Dust 2 is to maybe just put one on the site with an AWP watching long, and then put 2 short. Just put 2 short so they can't push up short. The AWP guy just needs to focus on long. If they come out long, he can get a couple kills, right? Just back off, play the site, and then you've got short, they can't come up short. Leave one guy short. Bring another guy back to the site to defend it with the AWP. Defend the AWP at the close range, the AWP takes the long range, and then you can defend the site. You just need to know that that is a viable strategy on Dust 2. You don't need to hold long as you can hold short, essentially. Because then you can retake quickly from short, and they're going to have a real hard time defending like 4 or 5 CT players running at them from short. So I think that's just the one thing you need to know, is that you don't need to hold long on Dust 2. If they're taking it every round, take short instead. Thanks for watching this demo review. If you're interested in getting one for yourself or some CSGO coaching, you can message me on Discord or find my Fiverr page. Both are in the description.